Man, you can't have it both ways, man. Anything but Shedeur. Now y'all trying to get a brand new fancy car in by way of the Green Bay Packers and Malik Willis. Y'all talking about bring veterans in. Is Malik Willis really a veteran?
There's just not enough with Malik. And it's interesting. I heard people pound the table for Malik today that have been anti-Shedeur or anti-Dylan Gabriel. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure those two quarterbacks have more football that we can judge them off of than Malik Willis.
And you're done. If you take Malik Willis, you're done with the Shedeur Sanders experiment. You can't keep him around.
No.
Right?
Yes.
So
Shedeur Sanders is your quarterback one for 2026. He is the best option for the Cleveland Browns to jumpstart this season.
The Cleveland Browns, a franchise that has spent the better part of 3 decades finding new and creative ways to destroy themselves, are standing at the edge of something real, something promising, and something that could actually flip the script on years of misery. They have a young quarterback with a first-round skill set, a new head coach who has been chasing him since the man was in high school.
Yeah, we tried to draft your ass last year. It's all worked out. Yeah.
And what is Cleveland reportedly doing? Seriously considering handing the keys to Malik Willis, a man with 155 pass career attempts, a backup, a clipboard holder, a guy who has spent the last 4 years being the third most important person on his own sideline. This isn't a quarterback competition. This is sabotage, and somebody has to say it out loud.
When it comes to 2026, you don't need to go in the draft, look in the draft for quarterback. You need to get other skill position players. You need to upgrade your wide receiver core, and you need to upgrade your offensive line because you got a defense that is solid. You can build around that defense and Myles Garrett and Carson Schwarzenegger.
Let's rewind. The Cleveland Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders knowing exactly who he was. The son of a legend, a kid who had been doubted, poked, prodded, and dragged through the mud at every single step of his pre-draft process. He fell all the way to pick 144, not because the football wasn't there, not because the accuracy wasn't there, because the league's old guard didn't like the noise that came with the Sanders name. Cleveland took the shot anyway. And then what did they do? They handed him a broken offensive line, a coaching staff that had emotionally checked out of the season before Halloween, and threw him into the fire. No real runway, no legitimate support, no wide receivers who could consistently get open. And despite all of that, all of it, Shedeur Sanders went out there and went 3-4 in his 7 starts to close 2025. He showed arm talent, he showed composure, he showed the kind of leadership that you simply cannot coach into a human being. He did everything a young quarterback could possibly do under those conditions. And still, the Cleveland media sharpened their knives.
Something's missing with this kid. This kid talks. He runs his mouth like I could be a starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this. Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that. If I know, the whole league knows. Quit being an embarrassment that way.
This is not a new story. The Cleveland insiders, the local media voices who spend their days whispering narratives into the ears of fans and front offices alike, have never, not for a single day, actually gotten behind Shedeur Sanders. Not once. Last year, it was Joe Flacco. Give Flacco the keys, they said. The guy's a veteran. He's been here before. He knows how to win. Then Flacco looked exactly like what he is, a 40-year-old quarterback running on fumes and reputation, and the narrative immediately pivoted. Okay, maybe Dylan Gabriel. Give the rookie a shot. Shedeur is not ready. Shedeur Sanders was never going to be ready for these people. That was always the point.
The Cleveland media did not want to make it a quarterback competition last year when it came to the likes of Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, and Shedeur Sanders. They was just hell-bent on just giving Joe Flacco the keys, and then if Joe Flacco wasn't going to pan out.
Now it's 2026, new coaching staff, new chapter, new opportunity to finally let this young man breathe and run. And what's the new narrative? Malik Willis. The media found a new name, slapped it on the same tired argument, and here we are. The name changes, the agenda never does. This needs to be said slowly and clearly so everyone in the back can hear it. Malik Willis is not a veteran quarterback. 5 years in the league sounds like experience until you actually look at what those 5 years contain. He was drafted by the Tennessee Titans in the 3rd round, and it was a disaster. Couldn't hold the starting job, couldn't win the room, got shuffled out, bounced to Green Bay as a backup where he spent 2 years learning the system, watching from the sideline, and throwing 35 total passes across an entire NFL season in 2025. 35 passes in a whole season. Dillon Gabriel had one single game where he dropped back 58 times, more than Willis threw in 4 months.
When Malik Willis had a little bit he played at Tennessee, like, I don't know.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah, why is he a hot commodity based on like one game?
155 career pass attempts, and people are out here calling this man a veteran. They're out here suggesting Cleveland should pay him $20 to $30 million guaranteed, the same contract Justin Fields just signed with the Jets, the same contract that's now going to cost New York tens of millions in dead cap after one catastrophic year, and hand him the starting job over a quarterback who was specifically drafted to be the future of this franchise. That's not competition. That's insanity dressed up in NFL buzzwords. Here is what the Cleveland media does not want to talk about because it completely destroys their narrative. Todd Monken, the new head coach of the Cleveland Browns, has a direct, personal football relationship with Shedeur Sanders that goes back years. When Shedeur was coming out of high school, Monken was at Georgia. The Bulldogs recruited Shedeur. Monken saw what this kid could do up close at full speed before the hype, before the spotlight, before any of the noise. He didn't recruit Shedeur Sanders because of his last name. He recruited him because the football was undeniable. Then Monken went to the Baltimore Ravens as offensive coordinator, and in the 2025 draft, the Ravens reportedly wanted to draft Shedeur. Think about that. The man who was chasing Shedeur in high school, who wanted to draft him from the Ravens' war room, is now the head coach of the team that actually has him. The football universe aligned this perfectly. Monken didn't stumble into Cleveland and find Shedeur. He arrived at a destination the game had been pointing him toward for years.
Todd Monken took a job as the offensive coordinator in the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens, and you heard Todd Monken in 2025, they wanted to draft Shedeur Sanders. Now it comes full circle that Todd Monken is the new head coach for the Cleveland Browns, and now Shedeur Sanders is your quarterback.
And people want to blow that up. People want to take that full circle moment, that perfect football story, and trade it in for Malik Willis and 155 career pass attempts? It is mind-boggling. Let's talk money, because this is where the argument against Willis becomes airtight. Reports are surfacing that Willis is expected to command a deal in the range of 2 years, $40 million, $30 million of that guaranteed. That is the Justin Fields structure. That is the contract that is currently drowning the New York Jets in dead cap money after Fields looked completely lost in his 1 year there. And Cleveland, a team that is already committed to a massive contract for Deshaun Watson, a team that is trying to build around young talent, a team that needs to be spending money on an offensive line and wide receivers, is allegedly ready to light $30 million on fire for a quarterback who has never started a full NFL season in his life? For what? To send a message to Shedeur Sanders that the organization doesn't believe in him? To tell a kid the league already disrespected at the draft that the team who picked him disrespects him too?
Yeah, that's the exact kind of contract that Willis is going to sign, and if it doesn't work out, then you just have more dead weight going forward. That's why you invested in
it doesn't really make a ton of sense for the Browns. It doesn't make sense for Willis. If you're Willis...
It doesn't make sense for the Browns. It doesn't make sense for the future. The only thing it makes sense for is the Cleveland media's agenda to see Shedeur Sanders fail. Nobody in this debate wants to say the real thing, so here it is, plain and unfiltered. Shedeur Sanders has never, not once in his time with the Cleveland Browns, been given the tools to succeed. The offensive line in front of him was a revolving door of retreads and injury replacements. His wide receivers couldn't separate. His coaching staff was coaching for their own jobs instead of developing their quarterback. He was dropped into an impossible situation and asked to not just survive, but thrive. And he still showed enough. He still moved the ball. He still made NFL-caliber throws. He still commanded that huddle. Denzel Ward, one of the leaders of that locker room, looked straight into the camera and said the starting job is Shedeur's to lose. His own teammates see it. His own coaches see it. The people actually in the building with him every single day see it. The only people who don't see it are the ones who decided they didn't want to see it before he ever took a snap. Give Shedeur Sanders a real offensive line. Spend that Malik Willis money on a legitimate wide receiver. Let him walk into OTAs as QB1 with full confidence that the organization is behind him. Give him a training camp where he's competing from the top, not claw him from the bottom of a depth chart built to bury him. Do that, just that, and watch what this man does. The Cleveland Browns are staring down a fork in the road. One path leads somewhere, the other leads right back to the same swamp they've been stuck in for 30 years. Shedeur Sanders is not a project. He is not an experiment. He is not a placeholder until a real quarterback shows up. He is the quarterback. He was drafted to be the quarterback. His head coach has been chasing him since he was 17 years old. His teammates believe in him. The football, when you actually watch it without the media filter, shows you a player who belongs in this league and belongs under center for this franchise. There is no version of this where paying $30 million guaranteed to Malik Willis, a man with fewer career starts than Shedeur already has, makes Cleveland a better football team. There is no version of this where running Shedeur out of town after half a season under a broken roster, under a lame duck staff, is justified.
Shedeur Sanders is the Cleveland Browns quarterback of the future, regardless how you slice it or dice it, but give this young man an opportunity.
There is no version of this that ends anywhere other than exactly where Cleveland always ends up, starting over, again, from scratch with nothing to show for it. Jimmy Haslam, Andrew Berry, Todd Monken, whoever is making this call, the answer is right in front of you. It has been right in front of you since the draft. It is Shedeur Sanders. It has always been Shedeur Sanders. Stop letting the media make this decision for you. Stop chasing the shiny distraction. Stop sabotaging your own future. Give Shedeur Sanders the keys and get out of his way.